This is Dr. David Allen, and I hope you're listening. This is a very holy. I'm 82 now. I've seen a lot in my country. Through the drug wars, the family started in 2008. The murder rate was pretty high. And so the family has become the grieving chamber of the nation for murder, drug deaths, broken lives. But Michaela has come into my life. She's changed me. She's a beautiful person, deeply religious, a committed Catholic, and her and her friend Daphne touch me every Saturday I meet with them. In the previous segment, she said she sensed something about to happen to her sister. And she said, I realized that, but then she said that if you can have me, but if you mess with her, and then we ended the program. What did you mean?
I told him I would kill him.
You could have me, but if you mess with my sister, I will what?
Kill him.
I will kill you. You meant that?
Yeah.
Fellow Bahamians, in the past 3 years, the family has been studying intensely suicide and works through a number of issues. And we just got an article published in the Japanese Journal of Medical Science. But the issue that we have to deal with in this country, and I'm saying it for the first time, I said in the article, is that many times kids want to kill themselves because they've been abused, either sexually or physically, or even incested. I've had families where there were 7 ladies and every one of them was incested. Sadly, a number have died. And the one who was in the family survived. This is a holy session, but I speak to my nation. We are beautiful people. But oh God, we got some issues. And we got to face these issues beyond politics, even beyond religion. Let's break down the barriers. Let's admit we're all sinners, we're all failures. But God loves us. Michaela is a holy lady. And she was willing to say, I'll be a sacrifice, but don't you mess with my sister. I will kill you. What happened?
He insisted that nothing was happening. And I told him, if I even think it's happening, I'll be the end. And I asked my sister, and she said no. When I went to college, I was happy to be at the house, but every day I worried about what was happening home. It got to the point that I had to seek counseling and still work and complete 6 classes. And so I went to counseling. When I came home after, this would have been in '92, and I associate that with Hurricane Andrew because I was living in an apartment off campus at that time. And
then Prime Minister Ingram took over as well.
Yeah, the government changed during that time. I guess everything had to change. So during that time, I came home and the violence in the house had gotten to a level that if we did not leave that house, someone would be dead. Someone would be dead.
So you're implying, Michaela, that these dynamics in families may be relating to the violence happening in our country as well?
Yeah, my dad was pretty good with separating the family. He, my brothers, my brother, he put him out the house, and my brother wasn't allowed to come to the house. He had to find his way in life on his own.
Is that the one who was murdered?
No, the one who was murdered is one of the younger brothers. So my oldest brother.
That hurt you as well?
Yeah, because right now, we have family game nights, and it's like pulling teeth to get him to come to game night. And so we've lost that connection because he wasn't with us when we left.
So, Michaela, you're saying, with these murders among us, the country goes on, but the families, the mothers, the brothers and sisters, they don't go on. Murder's terrible.
Yeah. We still don't know. The police has not contacted us since my brother's death. We don't know if it's a cold case or not. We don't know anything. No one has reached out to my mother.
He's gone.
Yeah.
He is no more.
No.
And the family has to live with that hole. How does the family live with that hole? That our relative was murdered. We don't even know what happened.
It's, I guess, Dr. Allen, you just have to live one day at a time. Sometimes, with life, you have so much distractions. I have my family to take care of. All of my siblings have their families to take care of. My mom had the restaurant that my brother used to own and operate, and so she used that as a distraction until 2019. And so
people have to make do.
Yeah.
Even with incest and murder and abuse, rape, people have to make do. Life goes on, even though life is often broken.
Yeah.
So what happened to your sister?
What happened to her? She learned to forgive, and she was able to. What happened to me happened to her, and she's been able to. And she had a journey that she had to go on, and she's found peace within herself.
What about you?
I'm still finding peace.
How does a person raped earlier, incested, find peace to go on? Have you thought of killing yourself?
Only in the last 2 rounds of depression, and that's how I got to you. No, I've never done the act. I thought about it and how I would do it, and I'm like, well, yeah, and then when I think about it, then I'm like, oh, I can't do that because I have this sister. I know she will not give me a proper burial because that's the person she is. Then I start thinking about this person and that person.
You didn't kill yourself because your sister wouldn't give you a proper burial.
No, because that's...
Michael, you crack me up.
Dr. Allen, when stuff like this happens to you, you learn to get tough.
Wow.
So you become like, the world has become desensitized to the headlines of murder in the newspaper. They have become desensitized to children being raped. It took the whole country how long to create the Marco alert after Marco was raped and killed by a man who they know was a known predator. They knew this man was a known predator. Why was he allowed to be out? This country protects people.
So right now you believe a lot of young ladies are being incested at home, but they can't say a mumbling word.
Yeah.
And they just go about their daily work. Christmas, Easter, summer, winter, but they're doomed to keep quiet.
Because there's a ripple effect, right? By the time we left my father's house, like I said, I came from college and the violence had escalated to a point that if we had not moved at that point in time, someone would have been dead. And so I pulled my sister aside, who follows me, and we talked about it. And then we brought the other siblings in, and we said, this is what we're going to do. My mom was the last person to know what we were going to do. And we brought her in and we said, we're leaving here. We're leaving here. And if you come, you come.
What about Daddy?
If you don't go, you go.
What
He was not a part of the family meeting because the meeting was about him.
So you engineered your family leaving your dad?
Yeah. We left in the night. He locked my two brothers up in the room. My brother Michael.
He locked two brothers in the room?
Yeah, my brother Michael and my brother D'Angelo.
And you all left?
D'Angelo is the brother I lost.
To murder?
To murder.
That still hurts.
Yeah.
You don't know what happened.
And we decided that if we took the back road, that he would be able to see us and he would be able to get us in the house, get us back home. But if we walked the main street, East Street South, that it was a highly traffic road, and he would not be able to bother us.
So at night you all walk down East Street?
East Street South.
With the traffic going by?
Yeah. And we didn't walk through the gate. We lived up on the hill, and there was a gap between the fence and the yard, and all of us went underneath the fence. And we went to my mom's parents' home.
Michaela, you're a leader. He says, it's time to go. You don't play around. You know you're a strong woman.
That's what they say, Dr. Allen, but when I go through my periods of depression, I don't see it.
Tell us about depression, because Bahamians are just learning about what's depression like. It's like a what?
It's debilitating.
Because you told me you'd come home at Thursday and go back to work Monday, but you go to bed Thursday, sleep all Friday, sleep all Saturday, sleep on Sunday.
Well, what taught me to get stuck in my bed was during the pandemic, because I used to go to work. I was an essential worker, and I used to go to work Monday to Friday, and then the country was locked down from Friday to Monday. And so
that blessed your depression, and you just slept the whole time?
That made me stuck. It kept me in the room.
And did you clean your house when you were depressed?
No, I can't do anything
what
because
about your dogs? Does your dog know you were
I
depressed?
don't feed them. I can't even, I don't walk them. I don't go for a walk. I don't
when you're
exercise.
depressed, everything goes.
Everything goes. And during that time, and the first time I was depressed, I took time from work, but I was still doing things. I cleaned the best I could.
You could fight through anything.
I cleaned the best I could, but I still, the level of clean that I had wasn't that clean. I didn't
think,
wash.
Being a very attractive and beautiful woman, when women are depressed, they could hide it. So if I had met you
I
at
was
work,
still going to the hairdresser and getting my hair washed
so you
every
still look
week.
beautiful.
Yeah.
So you're saying a lot of women walking around beautiful, but they depressed?
Yeah.
Women just suck it up. Wow.
And my depression also takes away my eating. So I could go 3 to 4 days without eating.
You could lose weight then.
I lose weight. In this last episode, I've probably lost about 80 pounds. I lost about 80 pounds.
Because when I met you a few weeks ago for the first time, I don't know if you recognize, I just said, gee, can I see you briefly in my office after the family? Because I knew there was this beautiful woman, but there was something structured about you. And you know the story. You got on the proper antidepressant, and you became a changed person. When the depression kicked in, what did you notice about yourself?
I went back to that child. I went back to 5 or 6 because I forget how to cook. I forget how to clean. I forget. like my husband tried to get me in the kitchen to cook, and sometimes I would go, and like one time he wanted soup, and I was like trying to remember in my mind how to cook soup. So I did the best I did. It did come out good, but I feel the pain from 6 years old, from 5 years old, from 7, from 8, from 9, from 10.
Emily, please hear what she's saying. In our theory, which has now been published, the hurt of life is so painful that we have to develop a false self to cover that hurt. So even though she was deeply depressed, she would force herself to go to work. Even though she was being abused, she would just put on the right look and do it. So she has a very strong false self. But with my ability, I have little ways to just say, and I just say, can I see you briefly? And I said, you're hurting. And you started crying. And remember you did the depression test, it was way out there. And you say, Doc, I've been going like this for years. And so, fellow Bahamian, it really, you could, sometimes you can't even feel it, but there's a little test called the Beck test. Call my number, please. Take it, because we find in the community all our people are very depressed. 557-3172. And check your children too, because they're depressed. They follow the parents sometimes, and they don't tell you anything. And so we've found kids who try to hurt themselves, but when we do the testing, they're just very, very depressed. You have to talk. Jaw stops war. And the gift of the family program is that people talk. And Bahamians are great talkers. But in the midst of their talking, if they're depressed, you could tell it's truncated. You can tell it's monosyllabic. You can tell it's lack empathy. And when you do the testing, you see they're depressed. But Bahamians are strugglers. They do the best with what they have. That's why I love my people so much. They try, in spite of tremendous odds, especially our mothers. What they put up with, what they put up with. It's amazing. I admire how you just kept going. So when the depression started to kick in, what did you notice happening in your life and in your home?
I am a very organized person, neat. That I can get past. I inherited from apparently the Behtel side of the family. I had an aunt that was a hypochondriac. When she comes in your house, her hands are always up like that. My dad, we had to always keep the house clean. We had to always keep his bathroom clean. And so I had to always have structure. And so slowly the clothes started piling up. I'd take off a dress, put it on the same chair. I despised my husband putting clothes on, and it would pile up, and the clothes in the hamper would pile up, and my husband would help out by washing the clothes and cooking the meals and making sure I get at least one meal a day, because that's all he could get me to eat, at least one meal a day. So, yeah.
Amazing. So when the antidepressant kicked in, your whole light went on. Wow.
And then I have a battle with God, because I'm trying to understand how he could love me and allow my life to be like that.
You had a battle with God. How could God love me? Allow me to be abused like I was as a kid.
My husband used to hear me in the bathroom when I was showering, and he's like, who are you talking to? And I'm like, no one, I'm talking to myself. So, yeah.
You're praying. You're praying. You know you're a holy woman. Remember the first time you came to the family with Daphne? Daphne's a nun wanting to be, right? It's like, hey, Daphne, you got a nun? Two other nuns here. Because I don't know if you know, during the drug wars in the 80s, I was appointed head of the National Task Force. I put in fact, the Sisters of Charity Convent invited me to put my office in the convent. So I lived with the sisters. I put my office night and day. hotline. The first hotline in the Bahamas was in the convent. And the Sisters of Charity would give me a sister every day sitting in front of the door just praying for the work. When you look at the drug problem, we had problems now, but we were blessed because there were people who prayed a lot. Pastor Wolf, Seventh-day Adventist, the same Archbishop of the Catholic Church, wonderful man. And it was Billy Thompson, a priest in the Anglican Church, Father Granger, another tough man. And there were so many people who came together, and I saw Bahamas I'd never seen before. We're a beautiful people, but boy, we could carry some pain too.
Yeah.
So you pushed on in spite of the pain.
Yeah, with the help of the, when we moved out the house, that's when the crisis center, at that time it used to be called the Women's Crisis Center. And I remember my mom went to Glennis Hanna. The Hanna family used to be my father's lawyer. And she went to her and she told her that she had left my dad. And so Glennis told my mom about the crisis center. At the time, we didn't talk about the abuse. We just was dealing with the abuse of my mother. And we went to the crisis center. My parents, my mother lived with my father all of her youth, from she was 20 to about 40. And he never married her, and so this country don't protect those type of relationships.
I mean, the country doesn't protect women.
It doesn't, no, it doesn't protect women, and common law marriages or common law relationship, there's nothing, you get nothing in common law relationships. So, yeah, my mom was a housewife from she had my brother at the age of 20 until the time we left that house. And we never looked back.
What's it like as you bring back all these memories?
Because you suppress it so much, it feels good, because when I had my first round of depression, that's when I started sharing what was happening to me, because I needed people to understand me. And so with every depression, I peel back more and I share more. So, and I asked my mom, I was like, how was I as a child? And she's like, you were always quiet, you always kept to yourself.
You just kept everything dammed down in you. And what a blessing you are to people. You took one Englishman who was so depressed, you took him dragon racing the other day. He went, right?
Yeah.
He said, Doc, she said, come to the dragon racing, and I went. You're a blessing to so many people, man. And they listen to you, eh? God bless you, Michaela.
I remember when my dad died. He died November 2nd, 2019, on my wedding anniversary, doctor. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, I can't take a break at this man. He's dead, and he died on a day that I'm supposed to be celebrating with someone I love. And we went to meet with my estranged sisters. I come from a very large family. My mom of 9, with my dad. My dad has probably another 9, and all of them she cared for until the time she left that house. And one of my sisters, my mother's child, who does not talk to us. And that's another story for another day, Dr. Allen. She was like, Michaela, when we were talking about how the funeral or the service was going to take place for my dad, and she was like, and we were talking about something, and then she said something. She was like, yeah, Michaela, you can't fix everything. Mm-hmm. And so I guess some people say, yeah, you always try to fix stuff.
Well, I know you bless the family program. I mean, you just grab people and help them wherever they are, and it's amazing, your gift. I call you and Daphne the functioning nuns, because I told the Catholic Church should give you all a little nunnery plaque, because you all care. I mean, Daphne just stays there and smiles at the most deepest pain, and sometimes she's in pain herself.
Yeah.
Like one day you told me Daphne had a stroke.
Yeah.
I called Daphne and said, hello, I'm doing fine. I said, you all have the ability to face your pain.
She came into my life. I started when I moved back home, because I used to live in the U.S. and I was working there, and I came back home, and I needed the church. I used to drive from West all the way to St. Anselm's in Fox Hill, because
Father Moss, Preston Moss.
Yeah.
Great man.
And at the time, that's when my family was going, my sister and my mom. And I used to make it by the time that they were doing communion. I was like, no, I have to find a closer church. So I looked up the cathedral, I looked up St. Joseph, and then I found that there was St. Paul's. So I started going to St. Paul's, and about a year later, me going to St. Paul's, Daphne came, and she came back to St. Paul's. She was living in Grand Bahama where she was working, and she came back to St. Paul's because that's her family's church. And so she was outside with her youngest son, who is now off in college. And so she introduced herself to me. The week before, she had introduced herself to my sister, Tanya. And so we became friends just like that. And so Daphne is the talker, I'm the quiet one. So during my depression and all of my depression, she used to call, and I just used to listen. And I didn't have to say anything. She just used to talk. Sometimes she used to talk about day. My friend have a story for everything.
She helped you survive.
Yeah.
I mean, people helping people. She helped you survive. She was your antidepressant.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Daphne has that gift. It's a holy gift. And you guys have blessed the family so much.
My husband's like, I don't know what you guys talk about or what you guys have to talk about. And sometimes he just, even in my period of depression, she was the only one who could have got me to laugh. So,
she was provided by God for you. God still provides.
And she is the one who brought me to you, because in this last one, I couldn't see how I could get out of this depression, because this depression was the worst of all, was the worst.
She feared for the end. She feared that even though you'd done strong, I think your fear was that with all the suicides been happening in the country, that if she didn't act. But the good news is because she acted, you and I became connected, and you blessed my life so much. One final question. Could you forgive your dad?
I forgave him several years ago, because I did ask him, why did he do this to me? And he never said sorry. He said, I started it, Dr. Allen. I started it.
He blamed you?
Yeah.
They always blame the victim. Wow. How did you feel when he said you started it?
I didn't even bother to ask him anything else. And I think that was the last time. The last time I actually saw him was at the memorial for my brother, but that was the last time I went to his house when he said that I started it. I never allowed my son into his space. So my son never grew up around my father. I forgave him in one of my episodes of depression, and all of the stuff I wrote to him, I released them. I taught him up and I released them. And so in this journey, the person I have to forgive is me.
Beautiful. And there's a difference between forgiveness and reconciliation. Forgiveness is the first step. Reconciliation is the second step. And you were so wonderful last Saturday with this gentleman struggling with his own lack of trust. You just got up and gave him the forgiveness poem and sat down. He's been studying that poem ever since.
Yeah,
somehow that he can forgive, but forgiveness doesn't mean you reconcile. You don't give people their job back. That can happen, the secondary step. The first step is forgiving. I just noticed you got up and you just gave him the paper. I saw him afterwards to the men cave, and he just said, wow, what a poem. So you touched his heart, too. You touched so many hearts. As we come to the end, what would you like to say to your Bahamian people?
Incest and oppression doesn't respect the person who's being oppressed or the person that's being victimized. It has no respect to families, because even though that person is being incest, it's also affecting the family because it's a secret that you're keeping. And everybody is a victim. We have to educate our children. We have to educate them in schools, educate them in homes, and let them know that no one should be in their personal space, and no one other than them have that right to be in their space and have that right to make the decision on when they are going to have sex.
And if someone's an incest victim, what would you like to say to that person listening tonight? Because they've had to keep the secret all these years. What would you like to say to them?
I thought keeping the secret and just working through things and controlling my space would make the pain less. But I found that the more that I shared, the lighter I felt. And like I tell my friend Daphne that I have an alter ego. I have Michaela, the child, and I have Michaela, the strong, I guess what everybody sees, the strong person. But most of the time I feel like Michaela, the child. Find your voice.
Michael, I can't thank you for what you've done for the family, for the Bahamas, for me. God has really blessed you, even though you suffered a tremendous pain in life. May God continue to bless you, your husband, and your child who I've got to know as well. Thank you so much. May God bless you, and may God bless our Bahamas. Good night.